Hello and welcome to Truck Stop Murder and True Crime Podcast. I am your host, Gary Howard. Thank you for joining me today. If you're a return listener, thank you for coming back. If you're a new listener, let me tell you about what I do. I am a truck driver. I travel around the United States, and I have to stay at truck stops for 10-hour breaks and 30-minute breaks. So on this show, I'll talk about that travel plaza, what it's called actually, or truck. Some of them are still truck stops, but the majority of them are travel plazas because they cater to everybody. And I'll talk about if you're traveling through there, what's there to eat, if there's something exciting around it, maybe what to do. Also, what some of these truck drivers think about it. And some of these drama queen truck drivers is hilarious, as you will soon find out. But before I start, please share with a friend, rate and review. If you do enjoy me, please rate and review where you're listening to it. Also, share with your friends. Mainly, let's grow this because eventually I do plan want to do this full time because driving a truck and doing this, it just takes up, it's hard. You try to get good content out and also pushing 10, 11 hours. And today I decided I'm going to do an episode. It's going to be like a out of the blue one, which I'm not researched. I mean, I did do some research. I read some. But while I'm waiting here, I looked up something that was nearby. So I'm going to cover that. I've done this before and it came out pretty decent. But I am in Whiteville, Virginia, and where today we'll be talking about the TA in Whiteville, number 41, which I am upset because I already recorded this, and something happened, and I was the happiest I could be on that recording. I was like, that was my best recording of the truck stop, and I looked down and it was gone. I'm so upset. But anyhow, we're talking about TA in Whiteville. Now, it's been a while since I've been there. It is a 3-star review. I-77, exit 41. On I-81, it's exit 72 is where the two interstates meet here in Virginia. Right now, as of 6:03, is many spots. Now, I'm not there. I'm in Whiteville. I'm at the Gatorade plant here in Whiteville, waiting to get loaded. Last time I was here, I've been here before, but it was just a drop and hook. No, it's a live load, and they just finally locked me in. So they say they have 114 spots, and there's many spots as of 4 hours ago, but I guarantee you majority of them are pay spots as pilots, Petros and TAs do. So if you want to know the address for it for some reason, it's 1025 Peppers Ferry Road, Whiteville, Virginia. So if you're traveling through there and you get hungry, what is there to eat? Well, keep in mind, here's one of the reasons why I hate TA and Petros. First of all, the prices they have on there is not the normal prices you find out. So if they're Popeye, Subway, and Taco Bell is what's there, everything's bumped up $2 because they're at a Subway. And on top of that, you have to pay a convenience fee because hey, it's convenient that we're here for you, you and your travelers, which nobody does that. Pete, Pilot does not do that. Flying J does not do that. No other truck stop that charges you a convenience fee for eating at their store besides them. Also, if you need service done to their truck and they have to wait, but there's only reserve parking, now you have to pay to park for them to work on your truck. So that's why I hate them. But yeah, Taco Bell's right there. Popeye's, I don't know if I need to explain what these restaurants are. So Taco Bell, if you're constipated. Popeye's Chicken, which I love Popeye's Chicken, but damn, freaking these people, it's been almost $7 for a chicken sandwich. Go to a non-truck stop Popeye, it's going to cost you $3.99. And of course, the Subway. Now it shows that IHOP and most TAs do have the Country Pride restaurant, which I think is overpriced. It's decent food, but yeah, if you want to spend $15 for a plain Jane burger, you enjoy yourself. Let's talk about the reviews. Now, this is the funniest one. I saw this, it was 2 years ago, but it's just too funny to just go by. This guy, let me explain. Some truck stops, not all, there are some truck stops that are really strict on their parking, and they will not let you make their own spots, but sometimes you can make your own spots. And this place did have you make your own spots, and this guy was not happy that somebody did because he paid for parking. So let's read it. 1-star review. I paid for a reserved spot. Finally found one, and of course there is a truck parked on the side of the garage across from my spot. Luckily, all the spots around it was empty. So keep in mind, it did not keep him from getting his spot. Pictures on Trucker's Path is from him inside his truck already parked. This guy's not in his way. So, back to the review. I called the field desk to get somebody to ask the driver to move, and all I got was some kid who could not help me out. I am sick and tired of this. You pat for a spot. He put PAT, pat for a spot, and expect to get service. First of all, how is that giving you service? Because you think that you just run the place. Maybe you're mad that this driver, figured out the system and made his own spot instead of paying the $25. Which on Trucker's Path this says 18. Fuck it. Fucking haters everywhere. But here you go. But this person 6 days ago said nice place with nice scenery, which is a nice place there. Here you go. 1-star review. Do better, TA. Come in at 6 a.m. and both men rooms closed for cleaning. Don't know when will be done is all I get. And clean the bathrooms. Okay, 1-star review. Horrible service. Employees take forever. Help if they even address you. Deliberate incompetence in the staff. Waste of time, especially for truck drivers, and that every minute counts. Time is precious to this man. You cannot keep him from rolling down the highway. He is losing money. Can't you understand that, TA? This guy's confused. Decent pilot. Not sure if all the spaces around the store and behind the shop are reserved as paint is really faded. There were 3 or 4 free parking going down the hill, HIL. At 4 p.m. on Thursday, showers are on the small side. Okay, let's see. Look, I'm going to find this one review. Here's a 4-star review. Full ice cream, fridge, plenty of stuff to buy, like souvenirs and truckers' clothes. Different packed foods in the fridge, of course. A lot of people gives it a 3-star, just says average. They do have beer there. So here's the review that I thought was hilarious. Now, it's a little bit long, so this will be my last review. And I'm kind of confused by one. Help me figure out, is there a truck Cadillac converter? Maybe. Sounds like his cat loves to eat fuel filters. So here you go. This was 4 months ago by an anonymous user said, so I needed a little help for my service. My cat loves to eat fuel filters, and I bought the 2 I needed. Thanks for having them in stock. I broke my filter wrench in my belt trying to get one off, and the truck was chugging at idle. Went up to the TA and asked if I could get 2 filters changed. No problem, $34. So they said they'll call me when they're ready. So truck dies out while waiting. I went and asked if they could come out on lot and do it. They said no problem. So while waiting, I managed to get one changed and got it started. Went and talked to the service manager, told them that it was 1 filter now and I could drive up there. She said, okay, they'll call me when I could come up. It would be $17. The manager left, didn't tell anyone I was mobile again, and 2 hours later, service trucks come to my truck in the lot. I said I had it running. They said they were told service call in a lot. I now owe $70. This is where he gets mad. TA owes me $53 because of their miscommunication. They said they couldn't do anything about it. TA Whiteville owes me $53. I will get it any way I can. If anyone has a problem with me collecting my $53 without their knowledge, let me know. But it will happen. Other than that, great people, call me at blank, 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 blank. I'm not going to give his number on here. If you want to know his number, go to Trucker's Path and look up this truck stop. If any issues with me collecting my money back, he is going to get paid because they are not supposed to come out there. But anyhow, there you go. There's a TA in Whiteville. And like I said, this is a case that I decided to go ahead and do while I'm here waiting. And I still have a red light. And so, not heavy research. I did some while I was waiting here, thinking I was going to get out, but I decided to just go ahead and record. Now, it's like, I guess you'd call it a freestyle. I did this before in Tennessee. It came out pretty decent, I guess. But today we're going to talk about the Carrol County CourtHouse shootout. Now, this happened a while back ago in 2012. So it's an older case. So I'm going to read it from the pages of Wikipedia with maybe my own little spin to it. Let's talk about the man of the hour, Floyd Allen. He was born July 5th, 1856, and he died, or actually executed, March 28th, 1913. Was an American landowner and patriarch of Allen clan in Carroll County, Virginia. He was convicted and executed for murder in 1913 after a sensational courthouse shootout the previous year that left a judge, prosecutor, sheriff, and two others dead. Although the validity of the conviction has been a source of debate within Carroll County for decades, Allen, who was before the bar for a sentence after being convicted of taking a prisoner from a deputy sheriff, allegedly triggered a shooting at the Carroll Courthouse in Hillsville, March 14, 2012. I think that's the same year the Titanic sunk, if I'm not mistaken, maybe not. But let's talk about Floyd Allen. Floyd Allen was born in 1856 and spent much of his life living in Kenya, Virginia, located below. Listen to this. This is where the fancy hillbillies are at. They down there by the Fancy Gap Mountain in Carroll County. Yep, I saw that coming up this way. Fancy Gap. I so wanted to take a picture of it. Those are the high-priced women, lot lizards. They got that fancy gap. Yeah, he was the patriarch of county's most prominent family, which is in addition to owning large tracts of farmland and a prosperous general store, were also active in local politics as proud Southern Democrats. Both Allen and his brother Sidna, S-I-D-N-A, Sidna, held legal license for production of alcohol, which is weird because a lot of people, maybe they got a discount because they were a strong family. A lot of people just going off in the mountains in front of me and producing it. Hold on one sec. Somebody wants to talk to me. Okay, I am just going to leave that in. That was the yard dog where I was at to tell me that they needed me to pull back some because when you go to a door, they lock you in because I guess a lot of truck drivers have been leaving with the forklift driver inside their cab, so they start locking you in. But sometimes they get stuck, so they had to pull back. But yeah, my load was ready, and I am not happy about it. But I guess to keep with the purity of this episode, I left, weighed my truck, which I'm good, and parked at the TA, where we covered in this we're covering in this episode. I'm actually parked in the area where that one Karen was bitching that he had to pay for parking and somebody else didn't. Now, I probably could have just made up my own parking, but, I just decided just go ahead and pay for parking. And, yes, it was $20. But, yeah, there's a few spots I could have parked at. All the free spots was tucking up. There was two in the front, but they're really tight to get in. So I was like, you know what? I only have like an hour and a half to drive. I want to keep true to this episode. And it's a tax write-off, so why not? Because I work for Prime, but my company is Jackalope Transport, which I am super excited about. It's an LLC. By the way, my wife Desra, she created that name. So excited. But where was I at? So yeah, let's talk about Floyd's lifehood. Floyd Allen was born in 1856 and spent much of his life living in Kenya, Virginia, located below Fancy Gap Mountain. I already said all this, but I'm going to say it again because this is funny. I saw that, and it's just hilarious. Fancy Gaps. He was the patriarch of the county's most prominent family, which in addition owning large tracts of farmland and prosperous general stores, were also active in local politics and proud Southern Democrats. Proud. Both Allen and his brother Sidney held legal license for the production of alcohol. Yes, I know I've said all this again, but I'm doing this to help myself because, like I said, this is just one of on the fly episodes I'm going to do. So you got to hear that twice. If you missed it, didn't understand it the first time, you get it again. So Allen was noted for his generosity, but also his quick temper, easily injured pride. He had a history of violent altercations, including killing a black man who was supposedly hunting on his property in North Carolina, beating a police officer in Mount Airy, and later shooting his own cousin in May of 1889, Floyd's brother Garland, and Sidna Allen were tried for carrying concealed pistols and assaulting a group of 13 men. These two guys attacked 13 men in July of 1889, and Carrol County Court indicted Floyd for assault as well, but in December of that year, Commonwealth attorney dropped the case. In September of 1889, after pleading no contest to the assault, Garland Sidna was fined $5 plus court costs. Imagine that these days. More like that'd be like $5,000. I don't know. And the prosecutor dropped the weapons charge. Judge Robert C. Jackson, an attorney in Roanoke, and Judge Thornton Macy's proceeders in the Carrol County courtroom stated that Floyd Allen was perhaps the worst man of the clan, overbearing, vindictive, high-tempered, brutal, with no respect for law and little or no regard for human life. During my term of office, Floyd Allen Floyd Allen was several times charged with violations of law. In several instances, he escaped indictment. I am satisfied because the witnesses were afraid to testify to the fact before a grand jury, so he ran this place. Judge Jackson recalls the trial in 1904 in which Allen was convicted of assaulting a neighbor, Noah Combs. Floyd had wanted to buy a farm owned by one of his own brothers, but could not agree to a price. Combs wanted the land badly enough to pay the asking price and bought it despite Floyd Allen's warning not to butt in, not to butt in. Not long afterwards, Allen shot and wounded Combs and was indicted and tried on charges of assault. Sentenced to the jury to listen to this. Sentenced by the jury to spend an hour in jail and $100 fine. 1 hour in jail for $100 fine. Today, that would be attempted murder, plus costs. And of course, Allen immediately posted bail pending appeal. He said no. His defense team included former Commonwealth Attorney Walter Tipton and recent County Court Judge Oglesby, Oglesby. And the next term of court, Allen produced an order of clemency from the governor, Andrew J. Montague, suspended the jail sentence, everything. 1 hour jail. Montague. A lot of people, that's what they're waiting for. Court. They spend way over that, days, weeks, months, sometimes. In another instance, while arguing over the administration of their father's estate, Allen got into a gunfight with his own brother, Jasper, known as Jack, a local constable, in a full aid of shots. Allen hit Jack in the head, which struck a glancing blow off Jack's scalp. While one of Jack's bullets hit Allen in the chest, his pistol emptied. Allen proceeded to beat Jack with the butt of his empty revolver. Sentenced to $100 fine and again 1 hour in jail. Of course, Floyd refused to go. I ain't going to jail, saying that he would never spend 1 minute in jail as long as blood flew through his veins. Floyd's body bore the scars of 13 bullet wounds, 5 of them inflicted by quarrels with his own family. He did not give a fuck about nothing. Despite the history of violence, the Allens held considerable political power, and Allen had a reputation of courage. In 1908, while serving as special deputies, Allen and a relative, Henry Allen, H.C., was charged with unlawful assault upon prisoners held in their custody who they claimed had resisted arrest. On February 1st, 1908, the Allens were convicted of the charge of sentence to, this time it's 10 days in jail and a fine of $10. Only a month later, their pension for executive clemency was granted by Governor, again, Claude A. Swanson, restoring the political rights to hold office. So they had some power in this town. Even the governors, I think, were a fear of them. In 1910, Sidney Allen was tried in the United States Court of Greensboro, North Carolina, for making $20 bill counterfeit coins. The federal court in Greensboro found him guilty, while Sidney's, I know I'm saying that wrong now, Sidney's alleged accomplice, Preston Dickens, was found guilty and sentenced to 5 years in federal prison. Sidney was retried, and found guilty of perjury in his trial, and was sentenced to 2 years imprisonment. Sidney promptly appealed and won a new trial on the perjury charge. Next year, after Allens complained that they could not expect justice from William Foster, the Republican Commonwealth Attorney of the county, who had recently switched parties, Judge Thornton L. Macy appointed both Floyd and H.C. as police officers for the New River section of the county. However, times were changing. Virginia's judicial system was altered in a series of legal reforms, particularly the court system, which was replaced by circuit courts. The new system appointed a full-time judge to hold court at scheduled intervals in a circuit court several counties. So judge moved around. While the state legislator still appointed circuit judges, the new system rebuked the ability of individual delegates to ensure that their preferred judge was selected for their particular county. So, furthermore, judges could no longer practice law for private clients while on the bench as regional judges. They were locally influenced by public. So it sounds like they got to pick the judge, these people. So that's why they got off with a lot of stuff and with light fees, fines, and everything. So on one night in December 1910, some sources say 1911, two of the Floyd Allen's nephews, Wesley and Sidna Edwards, attended the corn shucking bee in yeah, I don't know what that is, where they just shuck corn, a corn shucking bee in Hillsville. While there, Wesley kissed a girl who was romantically linked to a local youth, while Thomas, which led to the altercation between the two men at a church service the next morning conducted by Wesley's uncle Garland Allen. Thomas reportedly called out Wesley in a fight. According to Wesley, Thomas and three friends assaulted him, and he defended himself with the help of his brother Sidna, who rushed to join the fight. Wesley and Sidna was charged with disorderly conduct, assault with a deadly weapon, disturbing a public worship service, and other violations. Rather than face the arrest, the two men fled over state line to North Carolina, where they found jobs in a granite quarry. The deputy clerk of Carrol County, Dexter Gould, Goad, obtained a new warrant for the brothers arrested, notifying the sheriff of Surry County, North Carolina, who soon arrested both men. The Carroll County Deputy Sheriff Thomas Samuels and his driver Peter Easton traveled to Easter's four-seated buggy to the state line and received the brothers from Sheriff Haynes' deputy Oscar Monday. Oscar Monday's your man. He'll get your guys. Who had arrested the brothers at work where there was only one set of handcuffs, and both Sidna Edwards had tried to escape a couple times. Wesley was handcuffed in the front seat of the buggy, and Sidna was tied in the back seat. On the way to the courthouse, the buggy passed by several properties owned by the Allens. Floyd Allen met the buggy south side. Wait, let me start again. Floyd Allen met the buggy south of Sidney Allen's home as he was on the way to his own home. Deputy Samuels pulled the gun, later determined to be inoperative, and ordered Floyd to move away. And Floyd rode back to pass his buggy to Sidna's store, where he then blocked the narrow road with his mare. Samuels again pulled his gun on Floyd. A fight occurred, and Floyd beat Samuels with his own pistol, took his own pistol, beat him with it. Wesley Edwards tried to grapple with Easter, but Easter got away and fired a shot at Floyd as he did so, wounding Floyd in the finger. Floyd then released the Edward brothers, said, "Get out of here, go and get." Easter ran to the Quain's home, and he telephoned the sheriffs of Hillsville. So was later on going to get him in trouble. That's going to cause this whole court rally. Deputy Samuels was left lying unconscious in a ditch, and his horses would run off. Floyd Allen later stated that he never intended to have the boys set completely free. He just wanted them to be released from the manacles. On the following Monday, Wesley and Sidna Edwards were turned over to the court by Floyd Allen, and the two Edward brothers were soon tried and convicted of their crimes. Wesley was sentenced to 60 days and his brother 30, which were served outside jail on work release. So they didn't spend time just work release, probably working on the chain gang. So let's talk about the indictment. The Commonwealth Attorney William Foster had served as Carroll County's prosecutor for 8 years, having been first elected on the Democratic ticket. Later, Foster changed to the Republican Party, and by 1912 was a prominent leader in the GOP in Carroll County. Being elected the last time on the Republican ticket, Foster was a political enemy of the Allens, who had supported Jack Allen's son, Walter, as Democrat candidate for Commonwealth Attorney against Foster in the last election. Walter Allen had lost the bitterly fought race. So yeah, it went down to the nails. Foster called upon a grand jury to investigate the skate pistol whipping incident. Floyd Allen agreed to testify and admitted roughing up Samuels, but denied intent to release the prisoners. That Samuels was abusing the boys. He had them handcuffed and tied up with a rope. I just can't bear to see anyone drugging around. I can't barely see anyone drug around. That's what he said. So he just wanted to not break him out, but just he said he was treating him wrong. Nevertheless, the grand jury indicted Floyd Allen, Sidna Allen, and Barrett Allen for interfering with the deputies, and Floyd Allen was indicted for assault battery upon Samuels. Sidna Allen was never tried for his part of the altercation, while Barrett Allen was acquitted at the trial. So when Floyd Allen's case was set for trial, rumors arose that he had sent word to Deputy Samuels that he would kill him if the deputies testified against him. Allen later denied this, but the report threat caused Samuels to leave the state the same night it was delivered. He didn't want to even be around for this guy. So the rumor of the Allens were immediate intimidating witnesses was called to the attention of the court judge Thornton L. Massey, called Constable Jack Allen and Floyd Allen, who had been deputized by Massey about 6 months earlier, to the bar and proceeded to question them about the alleged intimidation. Jack Allen denied all responsibilities over allegations of intimidation, which he stated were untrue, and insisted neither he nor his brother was guilty of wrongdoing. In response, the judge told the two men that if the law could not be faithfully enforced in Carroll County by the county's deputized officers, it would bring in state troopers, if necessary, to maintain order. A witness later testified that Floyd Allen had remarked that he would not let any man talk to him in that way. So, after close to a year of delays, Floyd was finally brought to trial March 13, 2012. Judge Thornton L. Massey, who had deputized Floyd 6 months earlier, presided. Floyd Allen was well represented by a two-attorney team. Both Walter Scott Tipton and David Winton Bolin were retired Carroll County judges. Samuel Departure forced Commonwealth Attorney William M. Fawcett to rely on testimony from Deputy Easter. The jury could not agree on a verdict immediately as the trial ended, and were subsequently they were told to go to a hotel room overnight and figure it out. Fearful of Allen's reactions and having received death threats, many officials of the court armed themselves. At least two of the participants, Judge Massey and Sheriff Webb, had two friends they expected trouble. Many of the Allen clan members were spectators in the courtroom, most of them armed with pistols. Ain't this a time when you just go in the courtroom with guns and nobody said nothing? Now you can't even come in with a knife or anything. Here these men are in the court of law packing weapons. But yeah, Sidney Allen and Claude Allen stood on benches in the courtroom's northeast corner to see over the crowd. Frail Allen sat in the back of the room, and Edwards Boy stood on the benches next to the north wall. When the jury returned a guilty verdict against with a sentence of 1 year in jail, not in 1 hour, 1 year in penitentiary, Floyd Allen is reported to have said to Judge Massey, "If you sentence me on that verdict, I will kill you." Judge immediately sends Floyd, I'll say 1 year by imprisonment. According to Floyd Allen's defense attorney, David Winton Bolin, hesitated a moment, and then he arose. And this is around the time when all hell broke loose. He looked at me like a man who was about to say something and had hardly made up his mind what he was going to say. But as he got straight, he moved off to my left, I would say 5 or 6 feet, and he seemed to gain his speech and said something like, "I just tell you, I ain't going." At that point, shots broke out in the courtroom and bullets are flying everywhere. Accounts differ as to who actually fired the first shot. Many accounts claim that Allen initiated the confrontation by pulling a gun in court. In his defense testimony, Floyd Allen stated that the sheriff, Lou F. Webb, fired first, but that the first shot missed Allen, at which point Deputy Clark Goode, the clerk of the court, fired and hit Allen, causing him to fall. When Floyd fell wounded, he landed on top of his lawyer, David Bolin, who had ducked to the ground as soon as the shooting started, who is reported to have said, "Floyd, they are going to kill me shooting at you." Floyd Allen stated that only then did he draw his own revolver and begin shooting. After a full aid of shots, a volley of shots, the Allen clan left the courthouse armed with pistols and 12-gauge pump shotguns and shooting as they ran. This is crazy. Judge Massey, Sheriff Webb, Commonwealth Attorney Foster, and the jury foreman, Augustus C. Foley, were all hit and died of their wounds, sustained in the crossfire. More than 50 bullets were later recovered from the shooting scene in the courthouse. Elizabeth Ayers, a 19-year-old witness who had testified against Floyd, was shot in the back while trying to leave the courtroom and died the next day. 7 others were wounded, including Deputy Clark Gord and Floyd Allen. Floyd, wounded too badly in the hip, thigh, knee, to leave town instant, spent the night in the Elliott Hotel, accompanied by the eldest son, Victor, who was later acquitted of the involvement in the shooting. Upon arrest by the deputies at the Floyd Hotel, he attempted to slash his own throat with a pocket knife, but overpowered before he could complete the job. So they got him. But here's the problem. Virginia law held that when a sheriff died, which he did, his deputies lost all legal power, so the shooting left Carroll County without law enforcement. Recognizing the need for immediate action, Assistant Clerk S. Floyd Landreth sent a telegram to Democratic Governor William Hodgman, which read, "Send troops in county of Carroll at once. Mob violence, the court, Commonwealth attorney, sheriff, some juries, and others shot on the conviction of Floyd Allen for a felony. Sheriff and Commonwealth attorney dead. Court serious. Look after this now. Right now." Governor Mann immediately called on the Baldwin Felts Detective Agency to find these responsible for the shootings and arrest them. The Commonwealth of Virginia posted rewards of $1,000 for Sidna Allen, $1,000 for Sidna Edwards, $800 for Claude Allen, $500 for Friel Allen, and $500 for Wesley Edwards, dead or alive. Within months, all suspected shooters were in custody except Sidna Allen and Wesley Edwards. I feel like I'm saying that name so wrong. Sidna. During the initial manhunt, several posses of detectives and local deputies searched the surrounding countryside. Friel Allen gave himself up to detectives in the company of his father, Jack Allen, who worried his son might be killed while being apprehended. Cousin Claude Allen, it says so country, Claude Allen and Sidna Edwards were soon arrested after a brief search. The U.S. Revenue Service had sent Deputy Agent Fettis to investigate reports of illegal liquor trafficking by the Allens. There goes that moonshine. And then there's a lot of hills around here, too. So I bet you right now there's all kinds of moonshine being distilled. Which, by the way, I distilled me some moonshine, and it came out pretty good. I got a jar in my truck right now. This is supposed to be for a friend, but I might take a sip or two. Agent Faddis and 4 men raided Floyd's Allen property, seizing illegal stills and 50 gallons of moonshine. 2 more illegal stills were found at Sidna Edwards' house. However, Sidna Allen and his nephew Wesley Edwards fled Virginia after several months chase. Baldwin Felts, the detective agency on the scene, located them in Iowa after informant tip. Sidna Allen maintained till the end of his life that this informant was Maud Arulleri. I don't even know how to, I don't know if that's I think it's Iroller, Roller, Wesley's fiance, who provided information on the fugitive's location in exchange for $500 from the detective agency. Other states, that's probably a lot of money back in 1912, I bet you. Other state that Miss Irola's father, who had never approved of his daughter's romance with Wesley Edwards, tipped off the detectives that Maud was going to Des Moines, Iowa, to marry him. Baldwin Felts detectives traveled to Des Moines, arrested the suspects, and returned them to Carroll County to stand trial. I'm telling you, these guys, Baldwin Felts, they're some hound dogs, ain't they? So, Floyd Allen, back to the trial. Floyd Allen was first to be brought on to trial on a charge of murdering Judge Massey, Sheriff Webb, and Commonwealth Attorney Foster. Judge W. R. Staples presided over the courthouse shooting. Arrived. As a matter of fact, there's a place I'll talk about them, and which was prosecuted by Assistant Attorney General Samuel L. Williams and involved Attorney Draper, Landreth, Poe, a lot of people. No autopsy was ever performed on rumors flew of friendly fire, so they don't even know who shot who. They could have been shot by the judge could have been shot by with the bailiff. Who knows? So nobody did any autopsies. The prosecutor's case was based on the formation of a conspiracy by the Allens to kill the trial judge. Local law enforcement and others who had wronged them in the event of a guilty verdict. K.E. Kerm, a traveling salesman for Roanoke, testified that, I don't know why I can't say that, it's so simple, testified that he sold Sidna Allen a lot of ammunition at the March term of the Huntsville court, specifically 500 of each of 32 caliber, 38 caliber pistol cartridges, and 512. So this was planned. They were gearing up for a firefight. The prosecution attempted to show that Floyd and Claude Allen prompted the gun battle by standing and pulling their pistols and opened fire. Former Judge David Winton Bolin, who had been present during the shooting as one of Floyd Allen's defense attorneys, was the first witness the prosecution called at Floyd Allen murders. Bolin been standing next to Floyd Allen and was facing Judge Massey when the first shot struck the judge's robe. Bolin testified that Claude Allen fired the first shot and that Claude Allen's pistol shot together with a second shot fired by Sidna Allen killed Judge Massey. Another prosecution witness was Floyd Allen's other attorney, Walter S. Tipton. Tipton testified that he saw Claude Allen in the courthouse with a pistol raised in both hands as he had just fired it. And so he's just fucking blazing, guns are blazing. During the second glance, Tipton again saw Floyd with his pistols raised and held in both hands. He then saw Floyd Allen fire his pistol. Okay. Yet another lawyer who witnessed the shooting, W.A. Daughtry of Pikesville, stated that several young men were standing on court benches, which just sounds crazy to me, standing on the benches at the back of the room, firing their pistols like, here you go, this way he said they were like Custer's cavalrymen at the Little Bighorn. That's crazy. Deputy Sheriff George M. Edwards, who became the sheriff of Carrol County after Sheriff Webb's death, testified that as a deputy sheriff at the time, he had spoken with Floyd Allen just after Allen learned of the indictment. Floyd said that the attorney Foster would not give him a show, but that if he did not there be a big hole put in the courthouse. I don't know what that means, but the next witness was Sidney Tao here because he's going to burn down the courthouse if he's convicted. The next witness was Sidney Toe, who largely corroborated the testimony of Sheriff Edwards on a different occasion. He heard Floyd Allen make the same threat of putting the biggest hole in the courthouse that any man has ever seen. On the other hand, Floyd, that's got to be some kind of hillbilly saying, country, redneck, mountain folk, I'm going to put a hole in this place. I don't get it. Maybe somebody could tell me what that means. But yeah, on the other hand, Floyd Allen and his relatives claimed Deputy Clark Dexter Guard had first prompted a long-standing vendetta, and he and Foster held against the Allen family. The defense attempted to show that Deputy Clark Goad shot Elizabeth Ayers in exchange of fire with the Allens, a charge Goad denied 20 years later, and an allegation surfaced that Deputy Clark H.C. Questionberry had confessed on his deathbed to start the shooting. Two men swore on the affidavit that the effect in 1967, in which each man was reported to pay $20. Others considered the alleged to the hearsay made years after the event transpired, and they were worthless. This was all hearsay. They can't remember. But really, if you think about it, if bullets are people just jumping all over the place and bullets are flying, and courthouse is probably packed, you don't know where that bullet's going. You know, you could be firing one, but if he moves, you're shooting somebody else. That just seems crazy. In his testimony at his murder trial, Floyd Allen admitted that he had fired at Deputy Clark Questionberry and again twice more at other unknown persons who he had left when he had left the courthouse. Deputy Clark Dexter God admitted firing the second shot at Floyd, striking him in the pelvis. He said he thought Floyd's fumbling with his sweater button with a prelude to drawing his pistol. However, God denied firing the first shot in the volley, though wounded by 4 bullets himself. God recovered. Of course, he recovered. And S.E. Gardner, a Hillsville undertaker who prepared the bodies of Sheriff Webb, for burial testified that the sheriff was shot no less than 5 times. One bullet entered his back and ranged upward, ricocheted upward, lodging directly under his collarbone. A second shot entered the back about 4 inches lower, while a third shot cut through the sheriff across the chin. Another entered the body at the cap of his left hip and passed through his abdomen. The last and fifth shot went into his calf of the leg, and when his trousers were removed, a .32 caliber bullet was discovered. Attorney Howard C. Gilmore of Pulaski, Virginia, was at Hillsville Courthouse in a room adjoining to Judge Massey's courtroom when the shooting broke out. Gilmore testified he heard 2 shots in quick succession, after which there was a slight interval, and then a great volley of firing. Then shit, just a couple shots, and then the whole fucking hell broke loose. He didn't say that, I said that. He also testified that he saw the crowd come out of the courthouse and recognized Floyd and Sidna Allen as the last to leave, both of them following and firing backward as they backed out. Apparently in response to fire coming from their courthouses, the last 2 bullets were fired by Floyd, went through 2 of the steps of the courthouse stairways where they can still be viewed today. Gilmore said he heard Floyd Allen say 2 or 3 times, "I am shot, but I got them damn scoundrel." I am shot, but I got that damn scoundrel. Okay, there's some hillbilly stuff there. But Country Treasurer J.B. Marshall testified that when the shooting started, he turned to escape the courthouse. After getting down the steps, he leaned against the window of his office when 2 girls, Dora and Elizabeth, passed him. He testified that one of the girls pointed out some of the Allens leaving the courthouse when Sidna Allen came towards him, pointed his pistol at him, and fired. Marshall then related that Sidna Allen's bullet buried itself in the window about 6 inches above his head, still barely missing him. Marshall also testified that he had been standing near Sheriff Webb, but did not see any pistol in the sheriff's hand. Another witness, Walter Petty, also testified that the first shots were fired from the courtroom's northeast corner where Claude Allen was standing. Petty also witnessed a pistol duel between Sidna Allen and Deputy Clerk Dexter God. At God Allen's trial for the murder of Commonwealth, the attorney, I don't know why they put that on here, the attorney Foster, Judge David W. Bolin was again the prosecutor's star witness. Judge Bolin confirmed his testimony against that he saw Claude Allen fire the first shot at the judge. Macy, from the courtroom's northeast corner, Claude advanced towards the court officer to where the attorney Foster was standing. For his part, Claude Allen admitted to firing his pistol while in the courtroom. He testified that he saw Sidna Allen firing just about the time that he saw Deputy Clerk God fire. Victor Allen, whose pistol was used in the courthouse shooting, said he saw Wesley Edwards from the outside the courtroom firing a revolver through the courthouse window. So we got people shooting inside the courthouse from outside and over spectators' heads just after the shooting began. And later saw Edwards run through the courthouse together with Sidna Allen. Victor Allen also asserted that Claude had taken Victor's handgun as the 2 left the hotel in Hillsville on that morning. Sidna Allen testified that he was not armed on that day of the shooting, that he did not like to carry guns. He denied firing a gun during the courthouse shooting and stated that he did not see who fired the first shot, but thought that it came from the vicinity of Deputy Clerk God's desk. So after he was sentenced, he's saying the deputy shot up and jumped up and started shooting. Sidna Edwards had scalded. Let me start that again. I'm getting carried away because this is an exciting story. I'm sorry to slow down. Sidna Edwards had scalded his feet some years ago, before it was partially lame, and limped out of the courthouse, riding his mother's horse back to his home. Sidna Allen denied that he shot Judge Mathis, or that he fired at the attorney Foster, Sheriff Webb, or anybody. Allen claimed that when the shooting began, he drew his own revolver and fired 5 times at the Deputy Clerk Gauld, and Deputy Sheriff Gillespie because both men were firing at him. I was just protecting myself. After those 5 shots, he dropped to his knees and reloaded his revolver. Sidna Allen claimed that when he left the courthouse, God followed behind him, shooting him through the left arm. The bullet lodged in his left side. He stated that he fired back at God at the courthouse steps, but denied shooting at the treasurer, J.B. Marshall. He also said that he went to Blankenship's livery stable after the incident. When he met other family members and left Hillsville and Claude Allen, Wesley Edwards, and Sidna Edwards, they returned to their homes by traveling cross country through farm fields rather than public roads. Sidna Allen, Wesley Edwards then left Virginia, eventually reaching Des Moines. So, what's going on after all this? After all the smoke cleared, the bullets were all found. Everybody figured out who did what or who they think they did what and what. Of course, there was trial. So Floyd Allen was tried for first-degree murder of Attorney Foster on May 18, 1912. The jury found Floyd Allen guilty. He wept freely as the verdict was read. In July 1912, after 3 separate trials, Claude Allen was convicted of first-degree murder for the killing of Attorney Foster, for second-degree murder for killing of Judge Macy. For their roles in the shooting, Floyd and Claude were sentenced to death by electrocution. And see, this is what baffles me. He only had 1 year. Now he's facing a death sentence. But it is a good story to tell, just a gunfight. Allen's death sentence was deeply unpopular with Allen's supporters in the county, but many other residents were unsympathetic, surprised by the death of so many people over Floyd Allen's refusal to serve a year in prison. Then again, he didn't want to spend 1 hour in jail either. Governor Mann, who had received death threats in the same handwriting as the threats previously delivered to the trial judge, had to cut short a trip to Pennsylvania after learning his lieutenant governor, James Taylor Illson, had attempted to commute Allen's death sentence. He tried to commute it in his absence. So in a brief constitutional power struggle between the two men, Governor Mann refused to request to commute the death sentence to life imprisonment, and Floyd Allen was electrocuted on March 28, 1913 at 1:20 p.m. 11 minutes later, his son Claude followed his father in death in the same electric chair. So father like son, going out the same way. So let's talk about the other guys that was involved in all this crazy shooting. Sidna Allen pled guilty and received a total of 35 years in prison for voluntarily manslaughter of Attorney Foster and for second-degree murder of Judge Massey. He also pled guilty in second-degree murder for the shooting of Sheriff Webb and was sentenced to 18 years in prison. Wesley Edwards drew 9 years for each count of murder of the slaying of Foster and Massey and Webb, for a total of 27 years. Sidna Allen pled guilty on August 1912 to second-degree murder and was sentenced to 15 years in the penitentiary. Friel Allen was tried in August 1912, and after confessing the shooting, prosecutor Foster was sentenced to 18 years in prison. Democratic Governor Albert Lee Trickle pardoned Friel Allen and Sidna Edwards in 1922. In April 1926, Governor Harry Floyd Byrd pardoned Sidna Allen and Wesley Edwards. Victor Allen and Barnett Allen was acquitted. Marion, also Byrd, a cousin of the neighbors who reloaded a revolver for one of the Allens, had all charges against him dropped. Accounts differ as to whether this was for a lack of evidence or since Marion became a state's witness, admitted his role in aiding the Allens. Shortly after Allen's trial, law enforcement officers found a still in the old house on Burden Marion's farm, and he was arrested for making illegal liquor. He was tried in federal court and found guilty and sentenced to a year in federal prison in Moundsville. And not a single bullet was fired. I'm going to let you know right now, he was sentenced 1 year, and not a single bullet was fired. He began his sentence in August 13th and died of pneumonia in prison November 25th, 1913. The Carrol County prosecutors placed liens on all property owned by the Floyd Allen and Sidna Allen for the heirs of the victims. After 3 wrongful death lawsuits by the victims, estates, and survivors, their property was confiscated and sold in auction, forcing Sidna Allen's wife and 2 small daughters to live in rented quarters and work in manual jobs until Sidna's eventual pardon. Floyd Allen's son Victor bought his father's house so his mother would not have to move. In 1921, however, Victor moved his family to Tabernacle Township, New Jersey. Ugh, I don't know why you want to do that. Jack Allen lost his job as constable as a result of the Hillsville shooting, and soon his life. On March 17, 1916, he stopped for the night in a roadhouse near Mount Airy, North Carolina, where he encountered Will McGraw and Moonshine Holler. A dispute arose between McGraw and Jack Allen about the Hillsville shooting. During the confrontation, McGraw drew a gun and shot Allen twice, killing him on the spot. Jack Allen was buried near his home in Carrol County in the presence of thousands of mortars. So, with everything going on, the man could have just spent a year in jail, but since he could not spend a year in jail, and as soon as he said 1 year in jail, of course, his son jumped up, "You ain't taking my pappy." This is what happened. Murdered, killed was Thornton Lemon Macy, the judge, Lewis Franklin Webb, the county clerk sheriff, William McDonald Foster, the attorney, J.H. Blankenship, jury. I wonder if I'm trying to do this one case of a friend of mine, Terry Blankenship, that was murdered up in Sauk Village, Illinois, and I cannot find no information about it. But he was a good friend of mine. I wonder if he's related to him. I bet you he is, because he is some Southern folk. But yeah, anyhow, yeah, Augustus Caesar Fowler, he was one of the juries. He died of his wounds, and of course, Elizabeth Aries was a witness. Now, wounded was Floyd Allen, defendant, Sidna Allen, defendant, Dexter God, clerk of court, Christopher Columbus King, yes, jury, Fatus jury, that just says his name, Fatus, Andrew T. Hotlett, a spectator, Elhu, clerk Gillespie, deputy, Bruce Marshall, a spectator, and Stuart Worrell, a spectator. So there you have it, the Floyd Allen and the courthouse shootout. That is one great. I found that. I seen that not too long a while back. I was thinking about doing the Carroll County CourtHouse shootout, but I don't know why I never did it. So, but yeah, I do apologize for the muffling and everything, but this is one of them episodes. Like I said, I was sitting at the Gatorade, which I do have a load of Gatorade right now, heading to parts unknown. I'm not supposed to sell them, but I don't want to get robbed. But yeah, so I decided I'm just going to go find a case that happened nearby. This is one of my initial intentions was doing this. And I was like, man, this is hard. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I'm going to be able to give a detail. I'm just going to be reading from a script. But once in a while, I'm going to do that. So it feels like that I'm hearing the story the first time, like you guys, from me. So it's exciting. I might muffle through it, mush mouth through some of it. I do apologize. I will get better. That is one of the reasons why I want to do this. And if you're on Patreon, I'm really thinking about start reading books on there for my $5 level. I have one, so I could better my reading. And I really do wish I had more time so I could start scripting these out, leaving newspaper.com, Ancestry, and get more. But tell you, as a truck driver, it is super hard. But if you do appreciate me, trying and telling these stories, please let me know. Rate and review anywhere you listen to podcasts. It doesn't matter. And if you don't decide to do that, now I'm having trouble with iTunes right now because I switched hosting sites. I need to find time to get on there and try to. Apple is really difficult to try to get your podcast on there. You have to set up a whole account, payment. It's just ridiculous. But wherever you listen to it now, just go ahead. But really just share with your friends. Tell people, hey, check this guy out. He's a fucking asshole truck driver who tries to tell a story and mushes his mouth through the whole thing. But you can go to my YouTube channel, too, where I really need 1,000 subscribers so I could go live on my phone. I don't know why they won't let me do that. But, yeah, you have to have 1,000 subscribers. And some of the places I go to some of these places where crimes happen. Or sometimes you might just want to see something cool that I go to. As a truck driver, I see a lot of cool things. But anyhow, there you go. And Denver. If you are in the Denver area or plan on traveling through there on July 12th, 13th to the 14th, I believe, is the True Crime and Paranormal Podcast Festival. This is the third year I'm going to do this. And I just had got confirmation that I was going to do one of the panels, and I am super excited. I'm going to be with Nina Instead from Already Gone podcast, we'll be talking about the many faces of Lori Dan. And by the way, before I forget, that courthouse right now is still standing. It's now like a historical site. You can see all there's still bullets and everything like that. You can see the statue. You can go check that out if you want, and they have like a little display of like a little figurines and stuff like that. What the shootout looked like in the courthouse. That looks really cool. I really want to go there and check that out. So you can see where everybody was standing, the judge, everybody shooting guns and going crazy, like the battle at the OK Corral. You could go check that out if you want. But yeah, you could also check out my Facebook group. I know I'm just babbling on and on and on. You know, my wife gets on to me about this. But yeah, anyhow, Facebook group, Truck Stop Murder and True Crime Podcast. Instagram at Truck Stop Murder and True Crime. Twitter at Truck Murder. You can email me at truckstopmurder@gmail.com. And there you go. There goes the murder at Carroll County CourtHouse. Also, I have my Patreon if you want to go to Patreon and you want to support me. And Truck Stop Murder patreon.com/truckstopmurder. But really, I do want to see you in Denver in July at the True Crime Podcast Festival, True Crime and Paranormal Podcast Festival. So there you have it. There you go. There's my ad-lib story for today. And as I always say, you can't fix stupid, but you can sure numb it with a 2x4. I am out of here.